Oh, hey everybody, I'm Steve Ziskowski. I'm the founder of Caerusnet, and I've got a special guest with me today. It's Trisha Turner from Turner Design Group. She's based out of Howell, Michigan. And Trisha has been a member of the Brighton Wednesday 10 a.m. team really since about this time last year in July was when she joined that team. Welcome to the episode of Staying Connected today. It's great to have you on.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me.
So, wow, on June 30th, we did a Caerusnet member breakfast over at the Crystal Gardens, and everybody had some really unique testimonials that they gave about what Caerusnet meant to them, how it was working for them. I didn't quite expect it to go like that, but I was glad to hear about all the people that really have enjoyed their time. And you made a statement during your microphone time that really caught my ears. And it was something crazy, like when you look back at the 1 year that you've been in Caerusnet for Turner Design Group and you reviewed your numbers, you had a pretty high percentage of all of your business, you said, was referral related to Caerusnet. You want to go ahead and share that with us?
Yes, absolutely, Steve. And I had really reflected on this with my professional coach, Doug Moffat, who's also a part of Caerusnet. And he was like, wow, you really have to share this with Steve. Hello, he would love to hear it. And I had been meaning to call and, I set that nice time aside to have a good conversation or throw an email together. And here I was at the member breakfast and I'm like, this is no better time than another to tell everyone in this room how this has so benefited me to be a part of this group. And, I have this wonderful CRM program I implemented over the winter, did a lot of work on my company over the winter with this being my first year in business. And just briefly, a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to check it out and see where my numbers are because it shows the different referral sources. And currently it is July 2021. My sales are over 50% of sales are from direct Caerusnet referrals. So that's either, a member referring me to someone or them saying, oh, there's this person. And then it's a direct referral out of my Caerusnet affiliation.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And of course, that in Caerusnet, I don't make big promises when people come and join. I don't say, hey, join a group and you're going to have all the referrals that you know what to do with, because it's going to be a different experience for each business because each person's different, each business is different. What do you feel if someone were to say to you, geez, Trisha, that's a pretty outstanding number. What would you say maybe the top one or two things that you do deliberately in terms of your Caerusnet experience that you do deliberately that maybe you could hang some of that success upon?
I think, well, for one, I'm the only landscaper that I'm aware of, so that definitely helps in the group, in all the groups. That's why I'm extra eager to make it to these networking events because, especially in the summer, everyone needs a landscaper or a good gardener. So I think it just comes down to being genuine. And in my company, we have 5 pillars, and one of them is give to get. And I do try really hard to be present. So if you and I are having a trust builder, I don't look at my phone. I try to be present, but I do get my trust builders in. And after that member breakfast, I had a couple people reach out to me to do trust builders. And right now is a really, really difficult time for me. I did schedule one last month, and then I'm going to do another one next month. But in the winter, I'm hustling. I'm doing at least 2 trust builders a week. And I've learned that from you, Steve. And I've joined other organizations like the Howell Chamber, which is another significant again, but it's all referral source of leads and generating business for me. And so I do trust builders with all sorts of people, really, and anyone that I admire, want to network with. But I really do try to go through the different groups in Caerusnet and try to get my name out there.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I believe in the same thing too. It's really giving people uninterrupted time, focused time, so they really feel that you're interested in them, that you want to know more about them. Otherwise, the perception is going to be it's all about Trisha. And you don't ever want to have that sort of a reputation. And So and the other thing that I really like about you is, you've really taken a business approach to what you do. I remember when you were in a previous group, you took advantage of being a part of an organization that does live presentations. The
Oh
Yes
yeah,
Network, I
I
think.
still am. They have
Yeah.
a big event next week, I think. So
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, the diving into the improvement, the reflection, working on yourself all the time, that's something that's kind of a theme for who you are as a person, and people take notice for that. So I've got one other question for you too. You went from one group into another group that you might have known a couple people, but you were already in a group that you knew a lot of people that you probably had kind of a comfort zone established with. What was it like to be joining a new group? What was the biggest obstacle that you faced?
I don't really think there was one. And that's, I mean, not to puff you up. I mean, I love you, Steve, and I love Caerusnet, but everyone in Caerusnet gives a crap about what they do. And that's just so important to me because I don't want to work with anyone that doesn't want to give 100%. I mean, I feel like I give 110%. Like, if you pass a referral to me, I'm going to take care of them. And it might even come to a conclusion like maybe we're not a good fit, but hey, at least we have that discussion and I'm going to treat them very well. So it really was not difficult. I can't remember who my first trust builder was, but I started going right through that list as soon as it was about October and I could calm down a little bit. But really no hurdles at all. I mean, I most certainly have my relationships from the past groups, and I just kind of grew with more. So obviously there's like the insurance, like we in the 10 a.m. group have an insurance person that of course, my current insurance person is from my previous Tuesday group because we had that bond and had those contracts before I made it to Wednesday. But I do try to see how I can refer in our group. I try to stay as loyal to our group as I can, but if someone from another group, then that's like a different service, then I'm very grateful that I have Caerusnet that I can just go right on the website and see someone that's a painter, for instance. I did that this spring for a client, so that was nice.
Okay, awesome. So one last question for you, and then I'll let you go. And again, I really do appreciate your time today to share this information. So you joined a team after I had switched formats from becoming a completely in-person networking group, which was the pre-pandemic, to now doing this online. And after doing it online for 90 days, I was like, wow, okay, this is pretty efficient. Don't have to get into a car or go change everything I'm doing in one day to go be part of a 1-hour meeting. Sometimes doing that would make it so a 1-hour meeting is actually 2 hours of a day or 3 hours of a day. And now people have that time that they're not spending driving to a meeting that they can redeploy into trust builders or redeploy into other things. So joining this team, you joined this team online. So you were a box on a screen with all these other boxes on the screen. How did you approach then, meeting new people and inviting people to trust builders and making things happen? Was it a little awkward at first after being used to being in an in-person environment?
No, because, and I think too, because of me being a landscaper, I was still outside. Like a lot of people were cooped up or, doing their due diligence to abide to the standards that were set for our communities. But I was still meeting with some people. We kept our distance, but the people that were interested, we would keep even maximize the 10 feet apart and meet in person. But I did do quite a few trust builders online. So it wasn't, to me though, it's like, I just need that person to person. I feel like there's so much more that you get out of a person with the body language. And I mean, that kind of goes to being genuine too. But doing Zoom, like at first I was very resistant, which is why I almost didn't join and probably why I waited till July instead of a little bit earlier, as well as my time restrictions. But I really embraced it. Like as the fall came and it's like, oh man, this COVID crap's gonna kind of linger on, I think. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do 2 Zooms a week. So if people wanted to do Zoom, I wasn't like, ugh. So I did really try to embrace it because every day is a day for learning. And I mean, we got to change.
Yeah, yeah, that's great perspective. And I believe the same thing. You know, I've made some amazing relationships online with people that I've never had the chance to shake their hand or give them a high five in person. But the authenticity, you can sense authenticity. You can sense when a person's a follow through person. And but I do believe that there is something to be said for actually meeting that person, even if it's just one time. It just gives you another dimension as to who they are. And then, like you said, some of the randomness that you can have in your conversations when you're in person. And that's why, you know, I do recommend people do their trust builders in person if they can. It's going to just add to the relationship. And then also, you know, attending those quarterly mixers when we have them, so you can connect with your team as well as people on other teams as well too. That's kind of the neat concept. Well, Trisha Turner, I am so proud of what you've been able to accomplish as a new business owner. You really are a student of the game. You do all the right things, and I just believe that you're an unstoppable force. And I just hope no matter how big you get, you're not going to get too big for us at Caerusnet, because we love having you here.
Forget about you, Steve, and I'll keep it in my wolf pack. Oh,
Oh, the Wolf Pack. All right, Trisha Turner, Turner Design Group, thanks so much for your time today.